Morning, Bones.
Morning, Padre. How's it going?
Oh, not bad, man. You heard the latest with all the controversy going on down in Florida with Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah, they some judge, Kathleen, I forget her name, Kathleen something, but I guess she ordered that they shut it down and not bring any more people in there and start exiting the Everglades because of environmental issues, is what I understood.
Right. This court wanted it
Uh,
shut down and dismantled within 60 days, which would have cost Florida about $218 million. Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
and now an appellate court has ruled 2-1 to put that to a stay, and they are to remain open. Although they had started complying and shipping people out of there, they hadn't started tearing anything down. Uh, the appeal claims that it was never about environmental concerns. It was all to mess with the deportations and the Trump administration's plan to deport illegal immigrants and stand in. It was a way
Um,
for them to block that.
Right. So, let's use the environmental issue to get people's attention and get on board with shutting this place down. Um, that facility's been there for a long time out in the Everglades.
Yeah, it was put up in a very short period of time, but it's been there and it's been being utilized. Uh,
Well,
so
it was something else before it was Alcatraz. What I'm getting at is, that the area has
yeah,
been
it was an
improved.
airport. It was a developed airport, and it was turned into a detention facility. The appeal basically wrote it has been, it has and will always be about open borders, activists, and judges trying to keep law enforcement from removing dangerous criminals and aliens from our communities. Full stop. So
Wow.
that was the appeal, and it was upheld. Now, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis said in a video on X that Alligator Alcatraz remains open for business. The mission continues, and we're going to continue leading the way when it comes to immigration enforcement.
Yeah, that's a positive thing. Versus what was negatively applied uh, to try to shut it down.
Right. And again, this is just one more subversive tactic being utilized to halt deportations and interfere with immigration enforcement. Um, I just don't get it, Bones. I don't get it.
Well, with everything that's going on, it's not a surprise to me that they tried that. Hopefully the court can kick everything out and can Alligator Alcatraz can continue as usual with their business. You know.
Right. And I've also
Uh,
seen there was another state, and I don't recall which one it was, is now full bore into building another similar facility that they're going to utilize for the same purpose. The other thing when it comes to the immigration, hundreds of military attorneys have now been deputized to act as judges in immigration cases because of the backlog.
wow. Well, there's a lot of I heard 30, 40 million illegal aliens in the US. Um, I don't know uh what percent of those are hardcore criminal element, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of what they said they would be sending to Alcatraz,
Mm-hmm.
you know. The ones that have committed drug crimes, human trafficking, and so on.
Yeah, your violent criminals, assaults, rapes, murders. So,
Yeah.
so from what I'm understanding, the backlog on the deportations is in the tens to hundreds of thousands.
Wow.
And these are the ones that are being detained, awaiting their due process, as it were,
Uh,
which is why these military lawyers have been deputized to act as judges in these deportation cases, so they can try to work through some of this backlog and start dealing with it. On the tail end of this, we have the poster child, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. This case has been drug out forever. They are now saying they want to send him to, I believe it was something to the effect of Mitabiwi, Africa.
yeah, I
Um,
looked that place up. Yeah. It's a small little community that's just around the horn on the left side, not far from the ocean. And my thought was he could learn how to surf. He may not be able to speak the language, but I also heard that they're trying to put a bobsled team together down there.
there you go. So, yeah, with the Brego, while the federal courts are still pushing for deportation, his attorney's pushing for an amnesty hearing, an asylum hearing, saying he wants to seek asylum here in the U.S. So that's going to be an ongoing battle. But I read an interesting comment on it the other day, basically stating Kilmar Abrego Garcia has become insignificant. Whether he wins or loses, he's served his purpose.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we may or may not reach the end of that saga, but I would have to agree that the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case definitely has served its purpose in trying to give a black eye to the deportations and to how they are being done. It's created a big blockage and given the courts something to act on and activist judges something to place orders out on to hinder the federal government from actually doing their job. And then the question keeps coming up, do these courts have the authority to overrule executive order? Um, you know, these lower courts, circuit and district courts, have been trying to block executive order and screaming and crying and throwing tantrums because the appeals courts and the Supreme Court keep overturning their rulings, and all it's doing is creating a big delay at a major cost to the taxpayer. Uh,
Yeah,
when does it
and then
end? When can we actually enforce our laws, Bones?
yeah, well, the agenda, back to that, is this all part of what we had discussed from an internal destruction of the government's agenda of what's going on? Let's do this to try to curb that.
Well, of course it
Um,
is. It's nothing but an attack on the party in power. And again, the the agenda from the party in power is to do what the American public put them there to do,
right.
which is close the border, deport illegal aliens and immigrants, and let's get America back. Uh,
Right.
on the left, not only are they attempting to block that at every turn, Democratic states and Democratic politicians are trying to institute executive orders in their own communities stating that illegal immigrants will be allowed to vote.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff on that too. It makes me wonder, do you want the crime? Do you want the drugs? Do you want all this happening? Or would you like to have a little bit of law and order in your community?
Well, and look at Chicago, look at LA, look at some of these other major cities where the crime rates are skyrocketing. These are the communities, they're calling themselves sanctuary cities, but they're also trying to implement politics and policies to continue to funnel money to illegal immigrants, to give them the right to vote, to allow them to obtain Social Security benefits and these other federal benefits, SNAP benefits, uh, educational benefits. How does any of that help the American public?
It doesn't. It lines other people's pockets with their agenda is what it does. Um, and the administration in place now is trying to get rid of all of that, you know?
Exactly.
So,
And the other thing that comes out of that is I think the left realizes that without all the illegal immigrant votes, they're not going to have many offices to hold. This is their
yeah,
voter base, um, which is this would be like, oh, okay, Bones, you live in your home with your family. I don't live there. If I started trying to dictate to you what you were going to have for dinner and saying, not only am I going to dictate what you have for dinner, but you're going to make enough to feed me and my family and make sure you deliver it on time because we're going to be hungry. And oh, yeah, by the way, my power bill's behind and I think you need to pay that as well. Uh, how's that going to go over with you?
it doesn't go over very well. And with the taxes that I've paid over the years and knowing where the tax money has been spent, I think I've been doing that. But it doesn't set well with me at all.
Exactly. And yet that's what these politicians are trying to attempt. Uh, you don't belong here. You have no right here, but you're dictating to everybody that lives here what they can and can't do. You're taking their hard earned money to put food on your table. It's this is what's going on. So, we start out talking about Alligator Alcatraz. We go into the subversive tactics, touch on Kilmore Abrego Garcia, and this is all one big controversy that is dividing the American public. And again, they're utilizing half truths, false information, false promises to attack what the American people voted to have done. And it does not sit well with me, Bones. It does not sit well. I don't like it one bit.
Nope.
I don't know the answer as to how we overcome it, and unless the majority or the minority that's still battling against it can open their eyes and realize that this is wrong.
Yeah, keep shaking them until they wake up.
Yeah, that's going to be the whole process, I guess. Uh, so again, from Padre Havoc and Bones, man, I'm sure we'll have more follow up on these issues and the deportation stuff as it unfolds. In the meantime, man, it may be really tough, but I would say
Be
try.
positive, everybody. Yeah, yeah, keep it positive.